Alrighty, you get to see it tonight. Double feature. I know you're gonna love it. I'm going to show you something. I don't know if I explained it in the first video. This is a double feature from Sharp Customs. You saw me put the powder on. I don't know if I explained it. Baby powder. Plugs up your pores. Another reason I use it. My gloves from the last video. There they are. They're sitting there. Lets me take my gloves on and off easier. We've got another batch. We've got another batch of resin already brewed. And the reason I'm doing a double feature is because I left out a few little things that I would like my viewers to know. And my brush. So basically I have a jug of acetone that I clean parts out with, my gel coat dump gun, my brushes. But what I have found doing this stuff just in the past is that right here, lacquer thinner. Lacquer thinner seems to preserve your brushes. Now I've used the lacquer thinner to clean up my brushes, my rollers, my guns. It works great. But here, I'll show you. Here's a brush that I used yesterday. Okay, cleaned it out with acetone in a cup. It's still, half of the brush. You can see I cannot press it. This one I've been using all day today. It's still got full mobility. So, what I wanted to say. So this is already kicked from the first video. Now we did not get all the 6-ounce chop in there. I'm going to do a little, just a little bit of 6-ounce chop. I'm not going to do in the front section because the front section takes very time consuming. Here, I'll stand it up. You can see what's going on in there. We got all these little boxes, these light holes. We got the headlight pods. We've got the radiator vent. We've got these small vents. You saw me cover all that up with the 6-ounce chop. But my main thing is the fact that we're going to rest that right there. The main thing that I kind of wanted to explain, and I didn't explain in the last video, was the fact of when you're using polyester resins, we have a major thermal reaction. And could you put all the layers on? Sure, you could put all the layers on. Okay? I'm going to dab and I'm going to gab. I'm a poet and didn't know it. But yes, that thermal reaction is a very big factor when it comes to using polyester resins. Why? You're gonna ask why, and this is from experience only. I am not a professional. I'm not a professional composite builder. I learned basically like I said, you know, I'm a fiberglass virgin. I kind of learned from experience from doing it on the job. And basically, like I said, I got this little, see that little thing down there hanging out? Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. It's hanging out. Kind of cured up a bit. Might get in my way for the finish. Cannot find what I'm looking for. I know it's here somewhere. I'll find it. I'll find it. There we go. There we go. Scissors, a knife, anything to just get that kind of out of the equation. I'm going to dab and gab, like I said. So the whole thermal reaction thing. So you watched the last video. I put down this, I already had put down the gel coat earlier today. I put down a couple layers of the 1/2 ounce, the angel hair, the veil, whatever you want to call it. We did a little bit of 6 ounce chop. I'm going to carry on. I'm going to put some more chop. But that stuff had already, so the 6 ounce chop in the first video that you saw, that had kind of kicked. I'm not going to get into doing in the front here because that's kind of time consuming. It's very time consuming. Takes a lot of time. You know, we're talking the whole, that's a new thing I just came up with, believe it or not. Dabbing and gabbing. I'm going to gab while I dab the fiberglass resin. But yes, the thermal reaction. So basically you don't want to create a whole bunch of heat. I mean, it's okay if you make your molds good enough. But I'm going to show you something. So I did most of my molds. This is a piece of the tail. So I did them in a clear cast. And I'm going to say I got a lot of flack from the fiberglass composite tips and tricks groups. Why did I not use a tooling gel coat? Well, you know what? My clear cast molds, they came out so nice that I didn't feel the need to gel coat them because I don't plan on, doing hundreds of these, these composite bodies. Maybe a dozen if I'm lucky. So, in order to keep these going in kind of a decent form, I keep my thermal reaction to a minimum. So basically I have no issues with, doing a few layers, letting it cure, and I come back, roughly an hour later. Now you saw in the last video I had all these giant hairs, where I put the 6 ounce chop. So these are the hairs right here. Look at this. These are the hairs. So what I do is I wait, and just as it gets to the right point, now that's a learning curve, knowing what the right point is. I do what they call, and any composite builder knows, I do green trimming. So just as it's a kind of a point between not fully cured, but cured enough that you can green trim out you know, your edging and whatnot, kind of get that stuff out of the way. You really don't want that stuff in your way. So we're going to keep going here with just a little bit of the 6-ounce chop. We're going to keep going. Like I say, this is it's a whole finesse kind of program. It's a lot of work to get all down inside here. We'll just keep going. The double feature though is not really, it was just for me to kind of explain that, you know, the whole process behind kind of what, you know, what you get yourself into. And it's like a lot of people, even myself, I can honestly say that, you know, I get into this and I start doing this. It's like I get into these positions where, you know, I sit there and I'm dabbing and I'm gabbing and I go, oh Jesus, you know, like I got myself into this this situation where, you know, it's almost like a you know, it's almost like, what have I done to myself? You know, and not only what have I done to myself, but where do I go? Where do I go to get out? You know, because you don't want to stop. You don't want to give up. It's like, just keep layering the stuff on. Keep layering the stuff on. And hope that eventually you get to that point. You get to that point where, you know, you start to make some kind of cool products, you know, from fiberglass. I'm not even going to go down there in the front. I'm just going to carry on with kind of what I got going on here in the what you would call the upper front. I'm just gonna put it in there. But yeah, I wanted to get across that whole the thermodynamics, you know, of this is, I use polyester resin. Now there are many different ways that you could build composites. You could go with epoxies. You could go with pre-pregnated materials. You could go with, you know, vacuum bagging. There's so many areas that you could go. I tend to, yes, here at Sharp Customs, I tend to go with the cheapest route, because polyester, you know, polyester resins is your kind of the cheapest way to go. You could go with more expensive materials and stuff. I don't mind the polyester. Makes good composites. You know, you do pre-pregnated carbon fibers and stuff like that. Now you're into, you know, you're in a whole different world. You know, you're talking about you know, heating and vacuum bagging and all that stuff, and it costs a whole lot more money. I tend to stick with the polyesters. It's kind of what I grew up with. I shouldn't say grew up with, but when I got into, you know, building things out of fiberglass, it was like, you know, that was my local hardware stores, my local wherever. It was like, that's basically all they supplied was, you know, polyesters. you know, and I've learned over the years that yes, I get my polyesters, you know, that jug right there, through a company that I'm probably going to stick with. And yes, I'm gonna plug them because I don't care, you know, they don't give me nothing for nothing. But I got all my last products through Composite Canada, and I'm very impressed with all their products. Their gel coat, you know, all their products. What can I say? They're polyester, you know, compared to buying your, you know, I'm gonna say it. I don't care. Compared to buying your garbage at your local, I'm not gonna name names, but compared to buying your garbage at your local hardware stores, what have you, you know, automotive stores, this stuff is way more superior to, you know, you can watch my other videos. I've said it. I've come out and I've said it. So the hard stuff. Now I said before we shot this video that I wasn't going to do this. But guess what? I'm doing it. This is one of the hardest little parts, minus the, you know, the front here. This is kind of one of the hardest little parts. We're going to move on. Trust me, we're going to move on. I was trying to keep this video short, but we're definitely going to move on as soon as I get this this wheel well here sorted out. I got one more piece I want to get in there, and then we're going to move on. I'm going to lay this mold down, and we're going to move on. But yes, this video was all about thermal reaction. So I like to do kind of layers, you know, do the gel coat, let it cure, do the 1/2 ounce, let it cure, now we gotta move here. We're gonna move. Like I said, I don't like wasting material. We're just gonna slop this in here. We're gonna do it on the fast track. So each one of these pieces between, so this is the I don't know what you would call it, I guess the front clip. So I've done the center section, I've done the tail, and this is my first front clip, and I'm using approximately, I would say, yes, as you can see, it's been pre-cut. Hopefully I can get it laid in here half decent. So I've used approximately, now I messed that all up, you can see that. So basically I mix up roughly 6 ounces per batch. I'm going to get this all tucked in. I have to come back. I'm going to have to clean up my edge here. I don't know if I can because I need to get this all. Yeah, see, this is the crap. This is the crap I want you to see. I got this all folded in, and basically I'm trying to get my cloth in underneath it. And it's going to be pretty thick. It's gonna be pretty thick. The cloth, actually, believe it or not, the cloth actually goes in pretty nice. And you're gonna get to see something here. I'll try and work fast. I'm gonna try and work fast. Like I say, on my mix, just want everybody to know, on my mix. You know, I watch people on YouTube doing lots of composite work. And of course they make it look so easy. Look in the bucket. Next time I take a stab at the bucket, look at the bucket. Look at that. See that? That's gone. That's gone. So at this point, I can't give up the race. Because if I give up the race, if I just stop and say, ah, crap, you know what? It went off, it's all gelled. I can't give up the race, because if I give up the race, then I've kind of lost the battle. And the battle here is to get it in, get it all down, do as much as I can. As much, I'm just kind of wetting my brush. Kind of wetting my brush. All I want to do is I want to get what I've got in here saturated. That's really all my main goal at the moment is. I've already lost the race, but if I can get all my cloth, somewhat saturated, and I can come back over here. I know that it was resined very well. Same as down here. I know that it was resined very well. So I can come back and I can actually, believe it or not, I can steal a little bit of the resin. My main concern here is just getting it flattened out. Getting it saturated. You know, a lot of people right at this moment, they would give up. They would give up the ghost and they'd say, "Ah, God, it's all gone for a crap." And it's like, no, just keep dabbing and just keep gabbing, because no, there's resin there. You watched me, you know, you watched me put it there, and I'll show you. You just keep dabbing. Like I say, you can kind of steal resin from other places. And this coat, so this cloth coat, is it important? Well, sure it's important. Every coat that you do is important. So I pretty much got it. I didn't think I was gonna make it. I got some issues going on over here because I got my cloth and my 6-ounce kind of merging together, kind of one folded over the other. One kind of folded over the other. Am I concerned about it? Well, you know what? I'm not that concerned about it. Of course, I've still got the whole front end. This is gonna kick. It's gonna kick pretty quick. That we know, because We lost about 2 ounces out of the 6. I'm not even going to clean that out. I'm going to get a new can. But I will save my brush. This is not acetone. This is lacquer thinner. I just seem to like the lacquer thinner way better than the acetone. It seems to save my brushes. Take a rag, give it a good wipe, give it a good cleaning. So there you go. This video was more about the thermodynamics of using polyesters. So now, when will I get back on this? I will not get back on this. Okay, we've seen that the resin has already kicked, but I'll give it a good hour. So it totally sets up. That's kind of a plus before, you know, using the polyester unwaxed resin, is that I've got upwards of a week to come back and work on this. Obviously, I am going to work on this tonight, off camera. I'm going to get the front done, you know, I'm going to get everything that I need to do. Now, that's the cool part about all the layers. So you have your gel coat, you have your veil, you have your first 6 ounce chop, you have your 6 ounce cloth, and then finally, to finish it all off, you got another layer of 6 ounce chop. Now, in between those layers, you can have air bubbles here and there. Doesn't really matter. Your gel coat, you get your gel coat right, you get the gel coat right, and you get the veil on top of that gel coat right. Every layer after that, you can kind of get away with not having it perfectly laid down, because that stuff is going to support itself. And that's what I'm learning doing this kind of stuff. You know, professionals will tell you that. I've watched many videos. You know, they don't go into major detail about stuff like that. And that's just kind of why I'm doing these videos. And I want you to all stick around, because you know what? We're probably going to do a triple feature tomorrow. Once this is, I will finish this up tonight, and tomorrow we'll pop the molds so that you can see what it may look like. It may be beautiful. There might be some flaws. We're not going to know till tomorrow. So, all my viewers, share, like, subscribe. I hope you stick around. I hope you come back tomorrow, because we will pop this out and we'll all get to have a look at it. So, until that video, peace. I'm out.